Bobby T, GM. GM.
Good morning. What's up, my brother?
Oh, just wheeling and dealing, making the best of everything I got.
I'm driving to one of our properties this morning, and I just got on the road and saw your text, and I have an hour drive, so I thought I would say good morning.
Huh, perfect. Well, right on. We got a lot of new people joining our call this morning, so great to see you. In addition to all these other new people. And let's see if we got an updated top 10. Head over to the calendar real quick. And just as a reminder, the Thursday night meeting is at the community college. Just like last week, I know we had a brief interlude where we were at the corporate headquarters, but now back at the community college, we got the Spanish study groups, English study groups, AIT essentials. It just keeps getting better, folks. It just keeps getting better. All right, so we'll pull this up here. We'll stick it to the man, and then we'll get out of the matrix. So everybody saw that this that big bill. I don't know if it's ugly or beautiful. You hear it from both sides, but this $4 trillion, $5 trillion printing, um, they're getting really close to passing. You know what that means for asset prices when they print money, right? When they arbitrarily print the money, asset prices go up. Now we're kind of in a funny spot because as the asset prices are going up, wages aren't keeping up. So the people who are supposed to buy the assets to be the exit liquidity for the people who bought the assets 5, 10, 20 years ago can't afford the new price. So these people are sitting with a higher net worth on a balance sheet, but they can't liquidate it because the people who are supposed to buy it cannot afford it. So we're in a funny spot for the next 6 months or so. There's going to be a Fed meeting today, supposedly interest rates might come down a couple basis points today, maybe not. I know Jerome Powell is I mean, he said a couple years ago he said he's not even thinking about changing the rates. So should we pull that up real quick and just check? Let's just check real quick. What is he gonna do? Stick it to the man. Where is it? It's not under this one. No. Remember what we were talking about, M2 versus CPI. CPI will falsify 2.94 on that. And what about M2? Where's that at? Zoom in on that. Oh boy. A little increase in the last week. Printed some more money. Printed another, we're at 21.7 to 21.8. So just $100 billion got made last month. Now, I'm not saying it's good. It's just good for asset prices. It's bad, right? Inflation is bad. Inflation is it's robbery, right? I don't know how else to say it. This is what I think this is what we wanted. $4.3. All right, well, we'll find out later today. I think his speech is in like 3 hours, and then that's when we'll find out about rates. I'm like 90% sure it's going to stay the same though. For now, I think we'll go one more quarter, then we'll have a big drop. Everyone's going to borrow a bunch of money. People can refinance, creating that lubrication that people need, so others can exit the asset, new people can enter, and the crazy circus will continue. Okay, well, jumping over to the calendar here, quick reminder that we're going to have cash flow tonight, hosted by Richard Stock at the corporate headquarters. Bring somebody to change their life. One thing I admire about Maeli and Bob Tierney, they got something in common, is that every person within 3 feet of them finds out about Renatus and gets an invitation to something. Oh, just kidding. Game night is next Wednesday. Tonight is the mastermind with the North team in Layton. Yep. And then tomorrow is our mastermind study group networking. Oh, we got it in Vernal too. Well done, Denisha. That's exciting to see. And then Scott Buckholtz is handling the property tour this Saturday, 10 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Mountain. And then next week, so be prepared. We start inviting now for the property tour on Tuesday with Richard. And then Wednesday is going to be the game night. Oops, I didn't mean to click on that. Oh, it looks like it got updated. Okay, it's not going to be at corporate. It's going to be in Sandy, 9500 South. Sweet. Okay, I'm glad we clicked on that. Speaking of Richard Stock, they just updated the top 10 ICMs for the week, most productive, lifest, changingest ICMs. And Richard comes in the number 1 position. So congrats to you, Richard. We got Dennis Bowers in the number 2 position. Mary and Seta are in number 3. Michael Pearson's in the number 4. Kate is in number 5. Tracy's in the number 6 position. Congrats to you. Stephen Cook's in the number 7. You and Laura. Well done. Jennifer Wright, number 8. Alinda coming in at number 9. And Becky Lambert in the number 10 position. Exciting stuff. So remember, if you want to share these videos that corporate is producing about our ICMs that are having a wonderful success, come over to the video library section. Okay. When you click on that, then all the share buttons will appear, and use this filter right up here, filter out to the Renatus reviews, and you'll find the videos to share. Video library. Awesome. All right, well, it's loading. Loading. It's a lot of videos to load, guys. Like I was saying on Monday, so those of you who like to focus on online marketing, email campaigns, and posting up different ads and rockstar stories, you can make a like a 20-week or a 1-year compilation and send out all these videos. There's hundreds of them. You could send out 2 a week for a year and not even send them all. So in addition to that, we have the newest episode of Bob Snyder Show, The Invest Edge with Steve Nomura. So that is up on the channel now. I've seen a few more subscribers going in, so good job. Help them promote. Yep, so here's the newest one, Steve Nomura. Last week was Mitch and Maeli. The week before that was Ben Care. And then there was one with Jay. And there it is. All right, I want everybody to watch this. It's a shorter one. It's only 20 minutes. But this one is about proper guest protection. And we talk about it quite frequently, but it's just good to hear from the corporate side of things, right? We're always talking about it from the field's perspective. So I'm going to drop this link in the chat here for everybody. GM. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Denise, I just saw your comment about, yeah, all that BLM land. What is it, like 50 million acres or something crazy like that? So yeah, I saw that too. I don't know if they're going to do it in stages. They better, right? A slow introduction to the market. But yeah, we're about to essentially see a major spike in liquidity over the next 6 months between the amount of money they're going to be printing and the amount of land that the government's going to be selling and just, spinning things back up. Going to be a very interesting next 6 to 12 months. But good thing we're in real estate, the most stable. So anyway, keep promoting, keep telling people, keep letting them know they're in the right place at the right time with the right group, working on the right stuff, and to stop gambling. There's people that are trying to do investing without any education. It's a form of speculation and gambling, isn't it? All right, quote of the day. Leonardo da Vinci says, "One can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery of oneself." One can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery of oneself. Smaller or greater. So what is he saying? Is not a big deal and it's the biggest deal? I mean, I get mastery over yourself, right? If you don't, someone else will do it for you and then you're host. But what does he mean by smaller? Okay, then just wanted to make sure you are prioritizing this. I know a lot of you will have to travel, so put this on your calendar. Get your plane tickets now while they're only a couple $100. Delta's got a great big hub into Salt Lake from everywhere in the world. So go get your plane tickets. I know a lot of you will drive as well. Get your hotel room. It's going to be at the Sheraton in Salt Lake City. 750 tickets. We're planning on between 750 and 1,000 people being there. So the question is, how many of those guests are going to be yours? Just a few? I'm planning on having a couple hundred. You know me, we went ham on it last time. And yeah, our last E3 we had over 500. 520, I think. So anyway, 750 to 1,000. Let's plan on it. According to the corporate development team, we're going to be having a customer-facing ticket website so we can start selling the tickets. The key here, so that you can get paid at the proper time and the proper amount, is always be registering your guests, following what we just said in this video here with Jay and Matt Snyder about how to protect your guests. It's so easy if you just do this one thing, which is protect guests. Then when they swipe their credit card, it goes right to your account. Well, it goes to corporate, waits for 7 days, then waits for 5 more days, then goes to your account. But my point is the money's got on a straight path to your account with guest protection. With no guest protection,
this guy was really interested. He wanted.
It turns into a little bit of chaos and unnecessary work. So anyway, there's the link up there. Link is in the chat. And then as we get closer and we're building for this event with the E3, I think Snyder said he's already got 18 or 20 of the speakers lined up. So just a few more. And then, yeah, we'll start promoting it like crazy. So we got the head start. Sell the tickets now. And and then the other thing is, I know some of you weren't on the call yesterday, is we're having Lake Day. Lake Day. Let me pull up the website for that real quick. Some of you may want to join us. It's going to be July 1st. It's going to be an afternoon, evening situation at the Deer Valley Reservoir. Bring your friends, bring family, bring people that don't normally come to the Thursday night meetings, right? Or they don't come to the property tours, but they'll come to a hangout thing. They'll come to a barbecue. If you got kids, brothers and sisters, people who aren't, what's this? Let's try that one more time. Right here. Here we go. Lake Day. Community. Pull this up. It should just be right here. Events. So when you come into ISN on the left, right here, click on events. It's also pinned right here at the top. Oh yeah, and remember we got our KPI call this morning with Maeli as well. But the Lake Day, the summer fun. Deer Creek Cove Marina, Peterson Pavilion, Tuesday, July 1st. We may or may not be bringing some fireworks. But please fill out this form. This form is mandatory to attend so that we can get all the right supplies and everything and make the best of it. So yes, Freddie will have the invite scripts. We're going to have flyers. We're going to have video promos and then the website too. So yeah, that's all coming for you. And remember, bring some sunscreen. It's going to be a hot day. So fill out the form. Come with us 2 weeks. 2 weeks from yesterday. And then we got the mastermind tonight at college. And congrats to everybody who's making their sales, doing their deals. Exciting to see. Also, if anyone's interested in volunteering, leadership stuff, you want to help with check-in, registration, meet and greets, follow-ups, website development, different things like that. If any of you are interested, reach out to Maeli. And then there's obviously extra benefits that come from volunteering and serving. And yeah, so let's make the best of that too. Okay, let's get into it. Wealth Wednesday. Super excited about what we've been cooking and the updates on the deals, the numbers, the market, what's happening out in the world of real estate, buying and selling, borrowing, lending, moving, closing, title. Holy moly. If you aren't watching your classes and staying up to speed on these types of strategies, you're falling behind. What is it? Contract for deed, seller finance notes, lease options, negotiating, private money, and then putting the blend together to solve the problems. So let's jump into it with Wealth Wednesday with Dane Clark. So for those of you who are brand new, put this on your calendar. Every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're doing these calls. This is an added benefit. This is what makes our package worth $250,000. You only paid 26 grand for it. You got a bargain. But between the daily calls the weekly calls, the monthly masterminds, the workshops, study groups, quarterly events, the yearly events, everything in between. Well, yeah, we got a $250,000 package. I added it up. It's like 260. Anyway, being able to hang out with people like Dane and hear how they're building their mega multi-million-dollar portfolios in an honest and ethical way is very exciting. And the key here is that we're solving problems about real estate investing while making the profit. When Dane first got introduced to our group, however, he was not the rock star that he is today. He had the trepidation, the fear about, what it would be like to branch off on your own, be an entrepreneur, be in control of your income. And he wasn't sure it was going to work. But you know who was sure? His wife. And once they got on the same page, she said, "You're doing it." He said, "Yes, honey." And had this big, huge vision of what his life would turn into. This was almost 10 years ago. He sat in the meeting, watched Mitch Nelson do the presentation, and realized he doesn't have to settle for the life that was presented to him. He can design his own life, and he's done just that. Last month he just had a baby, so congrats to him and the whole fam. Big, happy, healthy baby. And now he lives on a private ranch in Idaho, and he does deals. He is a wonderful contributor to our community. And over the last 9 years, as he's done, fix and flips, rentals, developments, lease options, seller finance, the guy has just completely turned everything around. I know he's helped a lot of us and many others who aren't on this call be able to do a deal as well. He's a deal magnet. He's part of our Wealth Wednesday Council. So let's give a big warm welcome to the man of the hour, Mr. Dane Clark, GM.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you all had a great week, a great weekend. The fathers. I hope you had a wonderful Father's Day this weekend as well. And you had some conversations that were valuable. All wealth is built through conversation, and
That's
gotta
right.
love it. Absolutely gotta love it. But yeah, what's cooking?
Oh, we're just speculating on interest rates and global liquidity and this big, ugly, beautiful bill. I don't know if you've been following that at all. But basically what I started out the call with was saying is that all this extra liquidity, they're going to be printing the money. It's going to make asset prices go up, right? Houses are going to go up. But the challenge is the buyers aren't able to come in and scoop them up. So
Yeah.
what are you seeing in your world?
Similar. I've heard that rates are going to come down. Is that still a thing, or is that?
That's the rumor.
Okay, I haven't
We'll find
seen
out
it.
today. Today is the meeting where Jerome Powell will tell us.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I haven't seen it yet because I haven't slowed down buying myself, and I just always run the numbers as the rates are today, and I just locked one in. It was 6.99% or 7%. I've got a bunch of them that I locked in at 7.5% over the years. But as long as it still cash flows, it cash flows. And as long as I hit my number, I can't remember if it was this call or if it was somebody else that was asking me, but they were just like, "Dane, like what do you go for?" And I basically say, "Oh yeah, I think it was this call." But 30%, if I can't make a 30% cash on cash return, I don't even I don't even look at it. And um and I can still hit that even with a 7.5% interest rate. And so I've still been buying. And so yeah, like I said, but I just locked one in at 6.99, or let's call it 7%, and still hitting at least a 30% cash on cash return. And so we're buying, and we'll continue to do so. But the beautiful thing is if rates come down, then yeah, so do payments. I've seen that values have I mean, in some areas, it seems like pockets. Some areas values have gone down. Some areas they've kind of plateaued. And so it really just depends. It's interesting because I'm selling a house right now in Wellington, Utah. I had to Google it. When I went to buy this house, I had to Google Wellington. I had never heard of it. Very small population. But anyway, so I'm selling a house that I own in Wellington, and this is an interesting one because my buyer lives in, I think it's Maryland or Massachusetts. It's one of the M states, and I'd have to look it up which one it is, but Maryland or Massachusetts, way out east. And so my buyer is selling their house in Massachusetts and moving into this house, the house that I'm selling in Wellington. And it was so interesting because they sent in their offer and said, oh, it's subject to us selling our old house in order to buy the new house. And I typically don't like those. I typically will be like, I don't know if I want to accept that offer because you have to sell your house in order to buy mine. But their realtor was just like, because we talked to the realtor in Maryland and Massachusetts, whatever, the realtor in their state that's selling their house, because I wanted to do my due diligence, and he was just like, oh, don't even worry, like I expect this house to go under contract within days. But here in our area, I mean, I think I've had this house listed for, I mean, it's been a few months. If I were to guess, maybe somewhere between 90 and 120 days. Um, I'd have to look, but it's been months. I know that, and that's just is normal for that area of, especially of Utah, that area of Utah, to for the house to sit for a few months. But over there in Maryland, they were just like, oh my goodness, like, yeah, we're gonna list it on market. We're gonna have people lining up at the door. And I was just like, huh, interesting. So, and I heard that, but this is the first time I'm experiencing like the massive difference between two markets in, almost, I guess you could say, in one transaction. And so, yeah, there are places that are just crazy, and there are places that are slowing down. And so you just have to know what you're doing. You just have to know your numbers and make sure that I mean, obviously, yeah, there are people who are no longer in the boat. In fact, I put it this way. I've seen people buy houses in the year 20, let's call it from 2012. So from 2012 up to about 2022, maybe even 2023. So, it again depends on the area, but anybody who bought from 2012 to 2022, and I should say sold before 2022. And so if you bought in 2020, if you bought in 2019, if you bought in 2021, you made money on accident.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Even if you sold less than a year later, like I have some people like, yeah, I did my first flip. I bought a house in 2015 and I sold it in 2016. And I'm just like, you didn't flip your first house. I'm really sorry to take this away from you, but you made money on accident. If you bought a house in 2019 and sold it in 2020, you could have literally left the house as is, did not do one single thing to it. Maybe even like had a little bit of wear and tear on it, and you'd have made money on accident. And so anybody that bought in 2012 and sold before 2022, 2023, you made money on accident, my friend. However, I mean, there are people who bought and sold within 2 months, bought and sold within 4 months. Those people knew what they were doing. In today's market, if you can buy a house today and turn around and sell it tomorrow and make money, I mean, you hear this all over the education inside of our back office in Renatus. You make your money when you buy. For example, one of the houses that I just bought, in fact, it was funny because we were at not like a family reunion, but kind of like a micro family reunion, I guess. My cousins were like, hey, let's just do like a big barbecue and just invite all of the family as well as friends within, so many square mile radius, whatever. And so we got invited to this barbecue on Monday. And you guys know me, all wealth is built through conversation, and you never know where people are. In real estate, my one job is to find out what box people are in when it comes to real estate. Are they passively involved, or they want to be? Are they actively involved, or do they want to be? Do they have some kind of property problem, underlying, whether they're trying to get into houses or trying to get out of houses, whatever? Do they have some kind of property surrounding real estate? Or last but not least, are they just like, real estate, yeah. Or even potentially like taboo. Don't talk to me about real estate. And there's always a story there. And that's my one job. And so I was talking to people about real estate. And I'm trying to remember where I was going with this, darn it. Which story was I? Oh. So somebody was asking me, like, Dane, like, how does this work? And so I said that buzz phrase, like, oh, you make your money when you buy. Because he's like, isn't it like getting hard for people? And I was like, And I told him the same thing I'm telling you guys. Anybody that bought from 2012 and sold in 22 made money on accident. Right now, all you see are people who know what they're doing. And he's like, what do you mean by that? I was like, oh, you make your money when you buy. And he's like, what do you mean by that? And so I told him, like, well, I just bought a house like a month ago at this point, and I bought it for 500, and literally the day I bought it, it appraised for 700. I made my money when I bought that house. I could turn around and sell it tomorrow and make money. That house, we could have another 2008 situation where the market crashes, I would still make my money. We could have interest rates go to 15%. I would still make my money. And so because I bought below today's market, I made my money when I bought. And those are the only people I see making money, especially in the markets like my current market, where houses sit for 2, 3, 4, or 5 months maybe when they're trying to sell them. And that's if you're just asking market value. Some people that are like, oh, it's like 2022. And in fact, I had a guy call me, I think it was last month, and he's like, yeah, my goal, he's obviously new. He goes, my goal is to buy houses, fix them up really nice, and then sell them above market. And I just started laughing. I was just like, in this area? No. Sorry. And then, again, proceeded to show him, like, hey, look at the data. It's not happening here in our area. Like maybe this town in Maryland, that's, where these people are selling this house, where the house went under contract, like felt like minutes after they listed it, but I think it was just a couple of days. They had people lining up at the door to buy it. But not in this area, my friend. And so anyway, those are the people making money in this market. I shouldn't say this market because that's, again, relative. But in my market, in the Utah market, the only ones making money are those who make their money when they buy, where you can sell that house literally the minute you buy it and could make money. Now, some people are going to buy that house and fix it up and sure, push some value. And they'll just make more money because of it. And that's fine. But if something happened and they decided just to sell it today, if they bought it right, they could make money literally today.
Yeah, you got to like tell yourself that 100 times, folks. You make your money when you buy. That's it, right? Like if you can't make money the next day when you go to sell it, then you're buying it incorrectly.
Yeah. So another example, let's say flipping houses. Let's say somebody that is wanting to buy it, fix it, and turn around and sell it. If you bought it or you're buying it and you're like, okay, I'm running all my numbers and I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna make money as a fix and flip. If you're buying it where it's literally like just a base hit, where you have to do the remodel, you have to go through all of that manpower and money in order to sell it for more, then I would dare argue, I would guess that that you're really playing on that in that gray area of did you really make your money when you buy? Because if you buy a house that it's almost only a base hit, like you're only going to make, let's say 20 grand. And that's relative to my area. Let's say you're only going to make 20 grand, but you have to do certain things. You have to do the new kitchen, bathroom, carpet, paint, whatever, flooring, all the stuff. I would dare argue that you didn't make your money when you bought, because you are forced to do those improvements in order to sell. But let's say you bought a house that you're going to do that anyway. You're going to do a kitchen and bathrooms and flooring and carpet paint, whatever. And then you're going to make money. But if you literally sold it today, before you did any of that, like you didn't even touch it, but you sold it today and can make 10, 20, 30 grand. But if you were going to do all that work, you would make, 20, 30, 40 grand, maybe 50. That's when you're like, okay, I made my money when I bought. I could wholesale this. I could wholesale this to another investor and make some money today without touching it. That's when you know, like, okay, I made my money when I bought. Because
And
I
that's
have,
what you're saying is essentially, if it doesn't fit that metric, then don't do it.
you're playing with fire.
Gambling.
Yes. What's up, brother? How are you doing, my friend?
Good.
Good to see you. But yes, let's see. Jennifer, I have 10 investor DSCR loans going right now and 6 first-time home buyers and 7 HELOCs, 3 all-in-one loans. So people are buying and getting, yeah. So people are buying. Absolutely. And so let's see, go to Vegas. Go to Vegas. Easier to gamble. Yeah.
I just found a chart here.
What's
I just
that?
found a chart about builders. Check this out. So this is capturing the last 40 years of building permits.
Okay.
And the gray lines are recessions. Okay, we had a 90 recession, 2001, the GFC, and then the COVID pandemic.
Interesting.
So
we're basically back to 2020-ish. 2019.
yeah, but here's the thing too, is each time it touched that 1400 line, that I don't know why they're calling it historically significant, 1.4 mil. But when it touches it, it doesn't bounce off of it. It goes below it. When it touches it, it doesn't bounce off of it. This one, it bounced here, bounced here, a little around it, but then it just blasted right through this one. And then same right here, just blasted right through it. So what's going to happen here? We're going to have a big dip, or we're going to bounce off of it. But we're at a pivot point right now. So those of you who are thinking about new housing, I don't have a crystal ball. We're just looking at the charts.
Interesting. I mean, I guess let's see, it was at maybe 23. Looks like it hit it and bounced back up.
Yep. And this 22, I think, was when they dropped the rates down to like 0.1% or whatever, like almost free money. I think that's how they recovered that.
Interesting.
But now it's actually below the line. So
interesting.
Yeah. Very big mix of
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a crystal ball.
No, just something to look at.
Yeah. Very interesting. But Denise says, am I correct in thinking that this is more of a buy and hold market in Southeast Idaho? Yeah, it depends. If you're buying market value and considering renting that, like I'm actually not sure if it would cash flow. If you paid market value, got a DSCR or even a Fannie Freddie loan that's, maybe 0.5%. In fact, let us know, Jennifer, is DSCR like 0.5% more than Fannie Freddie on a non-owner occupied, let's just apples to apples say non-owner occupied, 25%, so 75% LTV, is Fannie Freddie like 0.5% or 1% cheaper? If I'm not mistaken, it's like 0.5% right now. And so even then, like it's not that big of a discount. Um, but I'm thinking of the upcoming BLM land will be sold. Okay, I'm thinking to buy and fix maybe. But yeah, so to answer Denise's question, it can be it can be a buy and hold market if the numbers work on your deal. So for example, like I see people I see people getting really creative. In fact, did I talk about my non-conforming fourplex deal last week? I think I did. We're gonna go ahead and move forward with this one, but it's a duplex that both of the sides of the duplex have mother-in-law apartments in the basement. I've never seen anything like it, but I love the idea. Such a, the builder was brilliant, and he was actually a builder who built the place, and so he built himself a nice owner's unit, has a mother-in-law basement below it, has another side of his duplex, and then that other side of the duplex has a mother-in-law below it. So basically a non-conforming fourplex. And so I'm seeing people doing creative things like that. And obviously this one's a unique deal, but I'm seeing people that are like, oh, I'm going to buy a house and I'm going to rent it by the room and we're going to boost the cash flow. And so I'm seeing people being creative like that, where almost trying to turn a single family into multifamily, whether it's adding mother-in-law. Like I've got some people it is their only jam. Their only jam that they will buy a house that they can put a mother-in-law apartment in the basement or add an ADU in the backyard or something like that. Somehow add units to the single family with one of the two. Mother-in-law or a completely separate ADU, like in the backyard, putting a tiny home in their backyard if it's something that they allow. And so I'm seeing a lot of people do stuff like that for their buy and hold strategy, or I should say as their buy and hold strategy, so that they can boost the rents. Because if you just buy a single family home, market value, even putting 25% down on market value again, and getting either Fannie Freddie or DSCR, either one, you will probably not cash flow. If I were to dare guess, you wouldn't. And it's been like that since about somewhere in the 2020 range, somewhere since the 2020 range, because either values were going up drastically or in 22 rates were going up drastically. If tenants struggle to pay rent, they'll move family in to help. So mother-in-law quarters makes it. Yeah, absolutely. I love the concept of, with real estate, everybody needs a place to live. And so real estate will always be in demand. I cannot even fathom what else they would think of that would replace the fact that everybody needs a place to live. I mean, even some of the funny stuff that goes around on the internet of living in a pod and eating the bugs. The pod has to be on real estate somewhere. And so still using real estate, real estate will always be in demand, especially in that bare bones somewhere to live. Now, I don't know if I'd be playing with like commercial and stuff like that. Again, personal preference, but it is a higher risk asset class. But yeah, dividing and conquering kind of stuff, whether you're doing it from renting the room, adding ADUs, adding mother-in-laws, whatever. Because even for, it's funny, like when I was trying to comp out this duplex slash fourplex, I don't even know what to call it. It's like the Frankenstein fourplex. But when I was comping it out, I was like, holy cow. All of these other duplexes are going for insane money just because it's a duplex. And I'm running the numbers and I'm like, it's the same as a single family with these duplexes. Like, I don't think people are cash flowing. If they're going and even putting 25% down and getting either Fannie Freddie or DSCR, either one, getting a non-owner occupied loan, they're not cash flowing. putting 20, doing it the old fashioned way, saving up 25%, putting 25% down, and just getting a traditional loan, DSCR or Fannie Freddie. I was like, these duplexes do not cash flow. I guarantee it. And so anyway, people being creative. So for example, like the way that I'm cash flowing on that house that I mentioned, I'm pretty sure I've shared it with you guys, but I had a buyer lined up. I bought a house for 500. It appraised for 700 the day I bought it, and so made my money when I bought. But I also already had a pre-negotiated contract in place before I bought it, signed, and uh, I had somebody move in literally the day I bought it. Had somebody moved in with that pre-signed lease agreement that will convert to contract for deed eventually. And and I even looked at it and said, oh, because of the value there, I could bare bones rent it. Let's say this person doesn't perform. Let's say this person, let's say, I think Denise said this, if tenants struggle to pay rent, let's say they didn't have any family that could move in to help, make the payment. Let's say they just had to like walk away and couldn't make the payment. I could still find another tenant because of how I bought this one, well below market. I could find just a regular tenant, rent it out, and cover that mortgage, no problem. And so, anywho, make sure you know your numbers. Know your numbers before you buy. And if you can, I mean, obviously I don't want to say that my way is the highway or everybody do what I'm doing, because there's so many ways to skin a cat. There's so many ways to make money. But if you can pre-negotiate, secure your deal essentially any way possible. For another example, so I just did a loan for a gal that's buying a house in Bountiful, Utah. Bountiful's experiencing about the same thing, where the houses aren't necessarily flying off the shelf. It's higher demand than this house I'm selling in Wellington, but not by much. However, she bought the fix and flip that she's gonna make money if she just fixes it and sells it on the open market. However, she was like, I actually already have a buyer lined up to buy this fix and flip when I finish my remodel. She's like, I actually have 2 buyers that I potentially will be able to sell to, that I've pre-negotiated or how would you say that? Premeditated. I don't know what to say here, but basically she's done her homework that she has 2 potential buyers before she even bought this house. I mean, that's just good business in my opinion. But if they fall through, which who knows, maybe they do. If they end up falling through for whatever reason, she could still sell it on the open market. But just the fact that she's trying to secure that deal before it goes to open market and just leave it to chance, and hopefully somebody buys it, and hopefully somebody buys it quick enough. She's trying to secure that deal before she even bought the house. She was trying to find buyers that were interested in the house that she was about to buy. It's just smart. So anyway, great question. Trying to remember why we were even going here. But yes, let's see. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. She's probably ready to go. But yeah, questions, comments. Who's got stuff? Who can I help? I mean, I'm fine to just continue telling stories and yik yak, but for some people, I don't know. I don't know if it's as valuable as we can make it for you. So who's got?
Well, if no one has a question, I do. Would you open up your whiteboard and do a side-by-side of what looks like a good deal, but how it ends up not being? Like, how many people see a $300,000 house and then they're like, "Oh, I'll buy it for 250 and make 50 grand."
Yeah, I actually have just the one. So, yes, let's see. Share screen. Share iPad. Share. What does that mean? I do not. Oh, Juneteenth tomorrow. I don't know why you're telling me that, iPhone. All right. Share screen. It should say Zoom. Yeah, here we go. I mean, I guess I could just share this on my computer. It might be a little easier. So, all right. Let's do this. It's probably going to have to upload. Oh, and I got to remember the address as well. All right, let's see. Which one did I just... Let's see if I can see it. Did I really analyze this many deals between then, or is this just loading? Sandy, Centerville, Clinton, Logan. Oops. I might have to just search the address. West Jordan was. No, it wasn't in Burrs. It should just be right here. All right, oh, here it is. No, that's not it. 390. All right, let me look up the address real fast. All right, let's see which one that was. 390 South. No, that was Gavin. Providence, that's the one I'm looking for. Providence. Huh, all right. Let's see if I can just search the address. 97 West. And maybe I actually didn't even do an analyzation on this one because I was just like, nope. Okay, yeah, I guess I didn't. I thought I did. So let's just do this then to share this one. So this guy sent me this house and he's like, let's see, I'm looking at it right here. He's like, I can buy this house for $200,000. And he's like, and I think, based on all the comps, I think I can sell it for 285. And he's like, if I put $25,000 into it, I'll sell it for 285 and I'll make some money because that's a spread. 200,000 plus 25, so 225,000, sell for 285. I have to make money. You're really cute, my friend. I didn't say that to his face, but I'm just like, no. So here, I think I can just share my computer screen for this one. So here's the house. Share, let's see, share Safari. Let's grab this address. And it took me 1 second to say, nope. Oh, come on. All right, let's see if I can just find it on. All right. So let's see, the address was 97 West, 500 South. I remember I had a hard time finding it like this too. So 97 West, 500 South. So we're right, I think it's this one right here. Here you go. Anybody seen one of these before? It's a basement only house. Here, let's drive over here. And I told him, I said, you will not sell that. If you have comps that say that this house will sell for 285, it's not even a good view if we go this way. If you have comps that says this house will sell, or if you have comps at $285,000 for, and you're telling me that houses that I don't know what this was, probably 1,400 square feet or something like that. In fact, here, I think I wrote it down. Okay, 1,300 square feet. If you're telling me the houses that were built in the 1940s, 1,000 square feet on 0.26 acres, are selling for 285, plan on maybe 200, maybe 220 or 5. Like you're basically buying this for what you could probably sell it for. I gotta check comments on these. But yeah, it's a basement only house. We have a few. Oh, you've seen these. Interesting. I mean, I'm sure their utility bill is lower than everybody else in the neighborhood. However, even if this house was 1,000 square feet, it would sell for tens of thousands for more than just because it's unique. Must be the better half. Exactly. And anyway, so I told the kid, I was like, no, you won't make money. I'll tell you that right now. You'd be lucky. You'd be lucky to buy this, rehab it like you're saying. You'd be lucky to like first of all, in fact, Jennifer, maybe chime in on this and tell me, because I've seen some of these that investors have done. But you might be lucky to get financing on it. Let's say you wanted to buy and hold it. Okay, yeah, Tim says they're not fundable by traditional. I was gonna say, I doubt it. I doubt that you would find a lender easily, especially doing a non-owner occupied investment loan on this. Oh wait, Jennifer's already gone. But Tim confirmed. And I was gonna say, I've seen people do stuff like this. So you know, people will send me deals like this. Now, obviously this is like a a no-brainer almost. I mean, I had to tell him no, no. But here, let's look at one more, and I will have a full breakdown of this one. So this one here in Logan, 390 South, 400 West, which this is something I think that we should talk about. So here's just my scrum board of everything I'm looking at. All of the greens are ones we're buying, all the reds are ones that we said no. And so I don't do every single deal I look at. In fact, I don't do a lot of the deals that I look at. If you can see, lots and lots of reds. Sure, there's a handful of greens in here, but there's lots and lots of these reds that I'm like, no deal. And I can't remember who said this to me, but at some point in my life, somebody said, oh, some of the best deals that you will do are the ones you don't do. And so, you know, if the numbers don't work, don't try and make them work. And that's what was happening on this one here. So let's grab this address, 390 South, 400 West. This should be in my software here, because I was gonna say I know I for sure did. Let's see, 390. There it is. And looks like I ran the numbers down to say, here's where this is a deal. So let me just get my bearings here. So he said I can buy this for, and I wonder if I put that 300,000 there, because I swear, in fact, I think this might tell me. Oh, that's right. When I move it, it doesn't. I'm gonna guess that his submission was a lot more, but let's look at this real fast. Because I was like, there's no way you're making money. Let's see, his purchase. Okay, yeah, 275. In fact, here, let me just pull up his text messages. Gavin Jones. So he told me, let's see, 200,000. Yeah, 300,000. So I was telling him, like, you got to be in the 200s, my friend. Still be tied at 300,000. Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing his original, what he said he thought he could get it for. But here, let's just start punching numbers in, because I remember what the bottom line profit was. So 300,000. He's making $5,000, and we'll go through the numbers here in just a minute. Nah, so I think that he originally was like 315 or something like that. He's like, yeah, look at this. I can buy this house for 315, and the ARV is 450, $100,000. There's a $100,000 spread. I can buy it for 315. I can sell it for 415 if I do a bunch of work to it, of course. And so let's look at this. So I think you guys can see this, right? Yeah. So,
Hey,
so he
Dane,
buys, go ahead. Ooh.
these were originally designed as honeymoon homes. We'd buy the house down the basement and build the top story when you could afford it. How much would it cost to add a top story to it?
Which he talked about that. And I just told him, I said, my friend, you're new. There are twice the moving parts when you get the government involved. A traditional fix and flip, which is maybe some bathrooms, maybe some kitchens or a kitchen, or I should say some kitchens if you're doing mother-in-law apartments. So maybe some bathrooms, maybe some kitchens and carpets and paints and all cosmetics. Like even that can be a lot of moving parts for some. But if you're gonna add the government into your fix and flip, meaning you're gonna pull permits, and in this house where honeymoon homes, I like that idea. You just buy the basement and then you'll build up later. Which I think people probably got smarter at some point and said, oh, we'll just build a house that has an empty, or what do they call that? A unfinished basement, and we'll finish the basement later. Probably because they had some bad experiences doing this model of
Hey,
just
Dane,
build the
these
basement.
homes were built in a time where people would only buy what they could afford to pay cash for.
Yeah. Oh,
Not
okay.
how much you gonna finance it for. That's why
That
it's
makes
built back
sense.
in the 50s and 60s.
That makes sense. So anyway, so we talked about that. He's like, oh, well, what if I just build up? And I said, that's possible, yes. However, when you add the government into your strategy, your risk just goes up. Oftentimes, the government is your biggest risk. Like in my real estate deals, the government is my biggest risk, always. In a scenario like that, if you're just going to buy the basement and add up, the government is your biggest risk, mainly because of if you can get it approved, and even if you can, how long does it take? And so you just have all these extra moving parts of not only doing all the building, but the government has to sign off on every step of it and approve, and all the neighbors have to approve. You got to go to meetings city meetings and get people to vote on it. Like you just add so many more people, decision makers, to involve the government like that. And so I'm not saying it's not possible. People do it every day. However, it just adds a lot of moving parts and adds a lot of chiefs, if you will, adds a lot of decision makers that they can make a decision that affects your paycheck. And I don't like that personally. I don't like putting my paycheck in somebody else's power, in somebody else's decision-making ability. That might be a personal preference, but I can tell you that there's experience behind making those kinds of decisions. And so, do it at your own risk. Again, I'm telling you, people make money doing this every day. Now, if it was like my house, so for example, what Pete said, if I was a newlywed and this was our first house and I was like, honey, let's buy this because we can afford it and we'll build up. Like if it was my house, I have time to wait. I have time to fight with the city. But if my mindset is I'm doing this to put food on the table, what if I have, in fact, I've got a buddy he's just down the road from me, that he's doing that right now with his house. And it was funny because last year, he was like, yeah, we're gonna do an addition to our home. We're gonna build a garage and add a bedroom and a bathroom, I think is what it was. Yeah, or something like that. We're doing an addition to our home. We are 1 year later today, and he is finally breaking ground. He's finally pouring concrete, or he's about ready. He's about ready to pour concrete on the slab on the addition. 1 year later, if he was doing that, he lives in this house. If he was doing that as an investment, and here we are 1 year later, because he's had to jump through all these hoops, his paycheck would be his paycheck would be eaten up big time. Tim says, I had a fourplex I was getting confirming approval, and the city said all I had to do was finish the punch list the previous owner worked on with the city. In the middle of an inspection, the inspector nonchalantly told me that I needed to pave the driveway, $67,000 out of no. Yes, this is what I mean. Like, you have people that can make decisions that eat your paycheck. Just, and I love the wording, nonchalantly. Oh, you must do the driveway. $7,000 later. Oh my goodness. The driveway was not a punch list. No, that's a project. How many people do you know just redo their driveway? Nobody. Very often. Oh my goodness. And so anyway, so I told him, I told him I would not do this. I would advise you, do not do that basement house, especially if you're newer. Anyway, so back to this house. So this one, he's like, oh, I can buy it for $315, spend $65,000 to remodel this home, and we can sell it for $415. So in his mind, he's like, hey, we're making money. And I'm like, no, you're not. And I don't think, I remember the number right here was through like negative 3,000. So let's even go like 305. Let's even break even. Let's just leave it here just for comps, just for concept. So more than $100,000 spread. Purchase 305, ARV 415. And I probably even helped him come up with the 415, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, here, let's see what he said. Oh, he said 470. And I said 415. Okay, so he even said, oh yeah, 470. And based on comps, we don't want to do this today because it would take us a lot more time. But in a nutshell, I like seeing more than less. Let me zoom out here. I like to figure out, I like to tell a story looking at comps. And so I think you guys can see this. Yeah. So this is everything. This is for sale. In other words, I like to call it competition. And so no, I don't base my prices on competition. Well, I do actually. I just say I want to always be below my competition. And so we have houses that are for sale. So the greens here are for sale. The reds are already sold. I want to make sure that we're below that. And so, and then all the reds are the sold. So same thing, we can use those as comparables to say, okay, let's go after these. So let me back that up and look at some real numbers. Image oversells. And so here we have a bunch of houses that are similar square footage, similar year built, similar acreage. When I'm pulling comps, I don't really care to filter beds and baths because I want to see if there's a story here. Like this tells me, so this is sorted. This is just everything within my criteria, similar square footage, acreage, and year built. And then within probably, I would guess like a 1.5 mile radius, but between a 1 and 1.5 mile radius. Okay. And so I can, and when you sort it by price per square foot, like this, okay, so we have top dog price per square down to the bottom. It's easy to see patterns. It's easy to see, it's easy to see patterns. So here's an initial pattern I can see. 6 bedrooms sold for more than anything. In fact, we have 643 from top to bottom price per square and down. And look at this. This one's even 2,400 square feet, and this one's 2,800 square feet. But still similar, $165, $168 per square foot. And they both had the 6 bedrooms. And then, so this one here means that it's listed because there's zero sold. And so obviously we want to be below that, $159 a square, because they are competition. And they've been, it's not going to let me move this. Let's see if I go like this, if we can still see it. Days on market. There we go. Sometimes when I move it over too far, it hides it. So days on market 42. This one has been listed. So here's solds. Days on market 59, days on market 46. So we're 45 to 60 days on market. 66, 74 even. So these ones are a little higher. This one's for sale at 66 days on market. In fact, this might be our house. Yeah, this was the house that we looked at. And so I'm grateful to see that it was the bottom of the barrel, bottom of the market. We should be buying bottom of the market, but we needed a little bit lower. Okay, that's right. Listed for 350. So he must have got it first. He must have got it below listing, but it was over 300 anyway. So anyway, I'm seeing these patterns of what we're doing. So that's where I said, okay, 415 is a very safe ARV. We are not pushing the market price per square foot, because single family price per square foot is the authority. I do not care. In fact, if anybody ever tells you, like, oh, the house next door, the house on the same road sold for 450,000, 472, don't listen to them. Who cares? What did it sell for? Price per square. It is the authority in single family houses. And so this is why I say I like this kind of a spreadsheet view when I'm pulling my comps, and I sort them by price per square, because then I can say, okay, throw these out. I will not be trying to flip my house and go for the 160s price per square. I want the 150s. In fact, here, let's see what my assistant gave it. I trained my assistant to pull these for me and assign it a value. Okay, so I think I even said, okay, let's push it to 163. Oh, you know what? I bet you I did that. I bet you I did that for this reason. So let's look at this. 2,500 square feet, 0.18 acreage. And if I'm gonna dare guess, it's because we had two parameters. Let's see. Oh no. So this one was smaller square footage and bigger acreage. And so even 415 was like, oh, that's right. I think I did tell him this, that I said, if you can get that ARV below, in fact, I probably have this in a text message. If you can get that ARV where you're trying to sell this below 400, so 399, then it'll sell. So yeah, 415, like if we're 100, okay, yeah, it was $163 a square foot. So we're not competing with the top dog, we're just below them. But then I followed up and said, but if we can buy this where we can sell it for 450, just below, let's actually change these numbers. So let's say we're like, okay, let's go for 399, because then we drop below that 400 mark. People's search parameters are going to, so many more people's search parameters are going to pick it up. And that's probably where I came back and said, if you can buy this, I probably originally told him 250. I swear I saw that. And I mean, that's like a really good deal. So I think that 275, let's float that. Yeah, to me, that's a little bit skinny. So let's say like 260. And so I came back and told him, like, hey, if we can get this for somewhere in that range, 260, 270, it's a deal. Buy it for 260, put your $65,000 in, and sell it for 399, because then you will sell it fast. Like you will have better days on market than all of our comps that we pulled. And this is probably even considering paying. Oh, he said that he's like, I'm getting my realtor's license, and so I will have my realtor's license by the time we're ready to sell this house. And so we waived the broker fee, or sorry, not broker fee, waived the listing agent fee, but he pays a full commission. And so he could make 33,000 if he got it for that. Let's see, what's this, 260? But they didn't go. And I told him the answer to every question you don't ask is no. And so I said, so find out. Say, hey, will you guys take 260? And they said no. But easy to spend. Yeah. Yes, Pete. Easy to spend someone else's money. Scott says, the one I bought was built in, I can't see that. Built in the 30s. And when the family built the top, and then the family built the top while they lived there, and it was finished in 45. So the house is 45. Nice. So I'm guessing, Scott, that you had one of these basement houses. Super cool. But yeah, and once you build the top, then more lenders will look at it. I mean, every lender pretty much will look at it, but when it's super unique like that, the super unique ones, I know there's money to be made, and I'm not here to tell you that there's not. I know there's money to be made in the super unique ones, but you just have to know so much what you're doing. Your numbers have to be so solid. In fact, I think this is the advice that I gave the kid. I said, when you're doing these unique ones, like you have to be so sure. You have to buy that, make your money when you buy concept. You have to be so sure that are making your money when you buy that house, that so much could happen. Where literally, like in his case, I was like, if I was you, like I'd be buying this as if you're basically buying the land and an unfinished basement. Like basically you're almost not even buying a house. And so I was like, if it was me, I'd be buying this for like 100 grand. The basement home. But anyway, yeah, I hope this is making sense. I know we keep jumping back and forth between the basement house and this one on the screen, but yeah, and they didn't go for it. Obviously because I told them the answer to every question you do not ask is no. And so we went for lower than the 300 and they didn't go for it. And so on to the next. There's always another deal. And so awesome. All right. More questions, comments. Anything I can do to help you guys? We got like 4 minutes.
Yeah, that's some great insight.
But yeah, when you're pulling your comps, if you don't have access to the MLS, ask your realtor to do it like that. Say, Mr. Realtor, Mrs. Realtor, I don't want you to just grab me some comps. Just say, here's the parameter. In fact, here, let me give you my the instruction that I have for my assistant. Let's see. It's right here. Copy, paste. Let's see. Some of this stuff is irrelevant. All right, criteria, 100 days.
How do I get out of this?
All right, there we go. So copy that and put it somewhere. So if I didn't have access to the MLS, I would be sending something like this to my realtor and just say, I want to see everything. Don't just like pick and choose. Don't be doing. In fact, here, let me share my screen again. So what realtors will do, and if I can just pop any one of these up and show you guys, put image over sales. So oh, that's right. I trained my assistant to get rid of certain things. So right here where you can't see, there's check boxes. What realtors will do is come in here and they'll check this box and check that box and then they'll send just those comps. And so they might skip a few or even just sort by price per square and select like the top two or whatever, and then send you some of those comps. Or their area, the radius is huge. And they're like completely across big lines, city lines, major highways, whatever. And so I asked the realtor, I say, I want it like this. I want to see it sorted by price per square, and I want to see all these parameters, right? The square footage, the acreage, the beds and baths, and the garage, the year built, address. I'm not as I don't care as much about it, other than just to differentiate houses. Days on market, style, like yeah, style, yes. Because again, you can see the patterns. But don't just like pick and choose. Show me everything that pops up when you do the criteria. I just sent you guys that criteria. Okay, and I tell them to do that radius, use that radius tool, give me starting. In fact, I think I even say that in my, so those instructions are just my employee instructions. I tell my assistant, here's the parameters you enter into the MLS, and you just screenshot what it spits out. So put image over cells. And so here we see the radius within 1 to 1.5 miles. And so send me those screenshots. Because again, even this, like, look at this. This tells a story. All of my comps are over here. Our house is over here. Like, be careful. In fact, I'm trying to, which one is this? Have I looked at this one? Oh, okay, yeah. So be careful with stuff like this. Why is it that there's nothing over here and everything's over there? And this would be everything. This is sold, that's under contract. This is active and backup. Like, this is just everything. And so it's like, oh, there's no houses for sale here, which, you know, it could be good and bad thing. There's just a bunch, there's 4 sold in the last 180 days. Kind of tells us a story. Like, okay, then not a lot's selling right now in this area. Could be good, could be bad. But at least you can see it all. I hope that's making sense. We didn't just pick and choose. Show me everything. My competition, my solds, and sort them by price per square foot. So yeah, just copy and paste that message that I put in the chat. Just give that to your realtor and say, this is what I want to see. Show me don't pick and choose anything. Show me everything. Nice. Until you get your own MLS access. You don't have to be a realtor to get your own MLS access, but you just do it yourself. But in the meantime, you just train up. You train up your realtor the same way I train my employee. Like, I don't get these. I don't pull these comps. My assistant does. I train her to do that. You can train your realtor to do that and say, send it to me like this, pretty please. And if they say no, I'll do it my way. Then you say,
you're fired.
Hey, other realtor. Will you do it this way?
That's right, man.
That's time a dozen.
That's that CEO mindset, right? Like, they work for us.
And so, yeah.
Perfect.
Celeste can't see it. Did you see?
No, you fixed it. Yeah, you're good.
Oh, okay. Cool.
All right. Well, fantastic. Ditto what Pat said. And folks, this is one of the reasons why Renatus is the best income opportunity in the country. You get the community and you get the real estate all in the same place. So when you're out there marketing and you're letting people know about why they should join Renatus, why they should buy packages from you, why they should come to events, it's because of calls like today, right? It's the action that's meeting the education that's making the difference. So Dane, thanks again for a wonderful example of honest entrepreneurship and a great attitude while we're going out there getting the work done for ourselves and our families. So appreciate you. Appreciate your time. Everybody else who joined us today, thanks for the participation in the chat and in the call. And go out there, spread the good word about Renatus, about the message that we have, and make a difference for people. All right, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you soon. Bye.